Hi, my name is Mandy and I am with Scott Leroy Marketing. Today's class is Database Overview. If you are watching this back on our recording from our YouTube channel and you have any questions during the class, please be sure to email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. If you're here during the live class, of course, like I've already shared with you, please drop your questions in the chat. If I don't answer them while I'm teaching the class, I'll stay after a little bit and get those answered for you. Okay? And let me just go ahead and show you our YouTube channel just really quickly so that you will know where to find these items. I did drop the link in the chat. Let me drop it one more time for the folks that just joined us. That is our YouTube channel, and this is what it looks like on your screen. You can always come here and use this magnifying glass right over here to the right to actually type in a keyword search that you might be looking for. Maybe it's a certain thing that you're looking to accomplish, make like imports or tags, or we have a hidden menu in your command contacts tab where you can do bulk actions. I'll show you that today. So maybe you're looking on how to accomplish those things. You can come right here, type in any word you'd like, and it should pull up those videos. Let me just show you what it looks like when we do database overview for the classes that we record like this. You'll notice they come up, but I just wanted to point out the time frames right here to the right of them. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So you can see this was 3 months old, but then, well, if I'd quit being trigger happy with my mouse, there we go. This is 3 months old, but this one's only 3 weeks old. So be sure to just pay attention to the time frame right there. That way you grab our most recent video. This one obviously was just 3 weeks ago. This is the last time I taught this class, and so you can go back and watch that one. Today's recording should be on our YouTube channel within 24 hours though, okay? All right, so let's jump back over to command. You may hear me reference a couple of terms today, and I just want to clarify what they are. So I'm going to click on this red KW up here on the top left so that you can see the names of your tabs in command. These used to be called applets. They're now called tabs. But you may hear this particular tab right here, contacts, you may hear it referred to today as contacts tab, your command database, your contact database. Whatever you hear it referred to, even during this class or outside of this class, it's all referring right here to your contacts tab within command. And this is what we are going to focus on today. Okay. First, to start off though, I'm going to show you some back office settings that you may not be familiar with, may not even know they're there. And you probably won't use them a whole lot. I just want you to know where they are just in case. So over here on the top right, where your name would appear in command, you can give that a click and choose settings from the drop down menu. And this is going to take you to kind of like a back office again to your command. This is your integrations page where you can integrate other third-party platforms with your command, things like DocuSign and Facebook. So over here on the left-hand side, you'll notice we have some other menus. Command settings is one we're going to take a peek under today. You'll notice anytime you see this arrow here in command, generally lets you know you've got a drop-down menu there. So we'll give that a click, and you'll notice there's an option for contacts. So here are some things to show you on the back office of your contacts. First is your contact archive. If you're trying to remove a contact from your contact database in command, it is a two-step process. It's a fail-safe just to make sure you're not losing any data. And let me just take the opportunity to say, if you are looking to remove any of your data or work on your contacts, highly recommend exporting a copy first, and I'll show you how to do that today. That way you've got a backup file, because once you archive and then delete, there is no undo button after delete. So there is no way to recover those contacts if you do go through this two-step process, okay? So just to let you know, so back to contact archive. This is the first step. If you are removing a contact out of your database, you would archive it. It comes right here and would live back here until you delete it. The archive just allows you to have a spot to where you can come back here and restore that contact if you ever needed to. You can do it one by one. You have a select all button. If there was multiple ones here, you could select multiples at a time and move them back to your database. One thing about it, there is a search feature here, but please know that once they're put back here in the archive, they're in no particular order. While you can sort them by first and last name, The date archived, there's no way to sort by that. So it is kind of just random. So if you keep archiving contacts and come back here and try to find somebody, just know it might be a little difficult to find the last one you archived. Okay. But once you archive them, then you actually have the opportunity to delete them. You can delete them from right here when you select their name, and it'll give you an option to delete. Or right here under database wipe, which is the next topic down, you have an opportunity here to archive all of your contacts, which would move all of your contacts out of the contacts tab and put them into that contact archive we were just looking at. And you also can delete all of those archived contacts. That's kind of a mouthful. This is where we have no undo button. Even if you're back here in the contact archive and you choose to delete them from this screen, again, no undo button. Okay, just want to stress it. Also, if you're on a team and you're not a solo agent, when you're looking at this screen, these options may be grayed out based on your permissions on your team. So don't worry if they're grayed out. It just may have to do with those permissions. Okay. Next, contact tags. These are my absolute favorite. This is how you would technically organize your contacts in your database. So if you can think about labels, or I think old school like me, we used to have file cabinets with files and labels, right? Before everything was paper free. So back in the day, we would add labels to everything. Well, tags are very similar. You can organize your entire database with them, and you can add multiple tags to contacts. Okay. So if you want to go and try to find all your buyers, your sellers, your leads, people you've met at open houses, people that are family, things like that. If you can think of a way to describe that person or that group within your sphere, highly recommend create that tag. Can only help you. If you want to have the forethought of thinking when you go to do a smart plan or a campaign, like an email blast in Command, the way you can grab those contacts to put them on that email blast is by tags. So if you're thinking you want to do an email blast to leads or to new buyers or to current sellers, things like that, just think of those as being tag opportunities. So come in here and create your tags. Now, I'm going to show you how to do your tags from your contact database. What you're seeing on your screen is just the again, back office place to come to your contact tags. It shows you not only the tags you've created, but you can also, let's see if I can scroll through really quick and find a system tag here. It'll show you created by, let me just sort it really quick. And again, there we go. All right, so created by system. This means it is a command tag. You'll notice the pencil and the trash can are removed right here. I can't edit those. They will generally always be this teal color with green writing. They are just in your command. You don't have to use them. But if you created them like these down here, you can come in here with your pencil, and let's say you made a typo in the word and you need to fix it, or you want to change the color. Some people like to color code their tags as well. You can come in here and save that tag with any edits that you've made. It will update on every single contact you've already tagged with that tag. Okay. And so this is just how you would manage your tags if you want to. Again, I'm going to show you how to do this in Command Database if you're wanting to apply tags or create tags or even remove tags once we get into the Contacts tab over here. But I wanted to show you where they are back here, and you also can create them from here. I'm just going to show you a much more practical way to do that eventually. Okay. Next is lead management. This is pretty cool. This is a newer feature within Command, and this is where you can come in and create a rule that if a lead comes in from a particular source, let's say your website, or like the rule that we have here, if a lead comes in from a landing page, then your system can do one of two things for you or both. It can auto apply a tag for you, It can also go ahead and put that contact on a smart plan. If you're not familiar with smart plans, these are ways to like nurture your database. Think of them as drip campaigns. They can be an email, it could be a phone call, it could be text, it could be all of those things. And the system would, that smart plan would send out an email today, wait 5 days. It would text your contact for you, wait 5 more days, however you have your plan set up. Okay, so it's more like a drip campaign. If anybody's old school KW, back in the day, it used to be called like a 33 touch, something like that. So that's what a smart plan is. But you would go ahead and get that contact set up on a smart plan. Another practical application for this would be, let's say it's in the middle of the night and someone enters their information on your website or maybe your app. That lead would come in to your database. Well, instead of them having to wait until the morning when you wake up for you to reach out, you could have a lead management rule set up to where Smart Plan goes out to them immediately. And maybe that Smart Plan is an introduction email full of free resources and information to keep them not necessarily occupied, but to give them something of free value right away, right when they are entering their information, which gives you a higher chance of capturing that lead for yourself without them moving on to another agent. It's just an idea. So you can come in here and create those rules right here if you would like to. You name it, you choose which lead source it would be coming in from right here, and then you can choose to either add a tag or have them assigned to a smart plan, or you can do both and just create that rule. Okay. If you have any questions, just let us know. Next is lead sources. Now, this is just the source that that lead came from, whether it's someone you know or you happen to get them from another CRM or another lead platform. Maybe it was a call in if you still do floor duty within your market center, things like that. That would be the source. It's a little different than tags because, again, you can have multiple tags on a contact at a time. A contact can only have one lead source. Why this benefits you to keep them organized is because in your reports tab over here in command down here near the bottom on the left, you can actually check on your numbers and your database health. It will actually show you where the majority of your database is coming from, where the majority of leads are being generated from, either over the last month, last week, last year. So it really shows you where your business is being fed from. So lead sources are listed right here, very similar to tags. You will see the ones created by the system, but you can also come back here and create a custom source for yourself as well and edit and delete as you need to. Okay. Next is custom fields. Now, when we go into the contacts tab and I show you how to add a contact or even just edit an existing contact in your database, those are the fields that we're talking about. Simple, right? Name, email, phone number, things like that. Well, sometimes those preset fields do not capture all the information that you need them to. Maybe you have a niche in your market that it's a piece of information that you gather from all of your clients that you want to know. You can come back here and create that custom field. One of the examples we use is favorite pie. We know a lot of realtors do pie giveaways, right? So maybe you want to start collecting an answer to that question before your pie giveaway. Start asking your contacts, what's your favorite pie? And you can even limit it to a certain number as well. And I want to show you how to do that just as an example, super quick here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this particular one so that I can recreate it. Oh, it's on a contact. Here's a great example though, guys. Look, it lets me know I can't delete this custom field because a contact has already answered this field on their contact tab. We've already entered data for this particular one. So that's a great thing to let you know there is a fail-safe, again, built into the system where you're not going to lose data, right? So that's okay. I won't delete it, but I am going to try to create it again just to show it to you guys, which brings me to this. You'll notice the pencil and the trash can for these as well. You can come in and edit these. If I were going to edit the favorite pie custom field from a drop-down menu, and let's say I wanted to make it a text field, I possibly could lose that data because it's going to move it to a text field instead of it being a drop-down menu with the data that I've already entered. I hope that makes sense. But as you can see right here, we created it to be a drop-down menu and only have 3 options. So whenever I was updating this contact, I would put in which one of these they had selected. I could also make it a text field like this to where I can type in anything. It could be an old family recipe or something like just a strange, different kind of pie, like mince pie or something that isn't just a fruit pie. You also have the option here to make it a default custom field. Default means that it would appear on every contact profile within your contacts tab. If you don't want this on the fields for everybody, you can choose to not make it a default, and that way you would just manually add it into your contact whenever you're filling out that information for the ones that you want to have it. Okay. But if you want it to show up everywhere on all of your contacts, go ahead and make it a default. And that way, that field's already there, ready and waiting for you whenever you're talking to your contact or you have information to update. It'll already be there to save you a step. Okay. I'm going to hit cancel so that I don't change the data that's already created in that field for that contact. But you could come up here to create custom field. Again, you're just going to enter a name for that field and you would choose the type that it is. We already talked about text field and a drop down, but you can choose date, checkbox, number. Let me get our screen down a little bit here. Maybe it's a URL. Maybe you collect your contacts' websites or social media platforms, percentages, currency, whatever it is, you can choose that type of field and then choose create. Okay. Moving on along. That was it for under our contacts, but I want to show you one other one that's under here under your command settings, and that's my logs. You have an import and an export log down here. Import, self-explanatory. This is you importing bulk contacts into your command. You can come right here, check on the status of that import. It'll tell you the day it started and when it was completed. It also shows you how many contacts you imported, how many failed to import, and how many were totally on that file to begin with. This is super helpful because when you do imports, let's see if I can upload or refresh it to get one. There's one. So on this particular one, only one contact successfully imported. 4,495 failed to import. And you can notice over here on the right, I have two downloads. One is the original file that I went to go import. The other is a failed import log. Highly recommend checking those out if you do imports at all or had us do imports, because this failed log is going to show you exactly why that contact didn't import. Chances are either they're already in your database, or maybe the phone number was one digit off, or you didn't have something marked as primary. It could be a technical goof like that, or it could be just that it's duplicate information. That file will let you go ahead and make that change to that contact there, and then you can try to re-import it. And that way you don't have data that you're missing out of your database. Okay, exports, similar thing, similar layout. This is you exporting a copy of your contacts out of command. It doesn't remove the contacts, they will still be in your database. It's just a copy, but this is a record of that as well. Okay. All right. Trisha, reporting, the reporting tab, is that what you're talking about? If so, yes. I'm as soon as we get time at the end of class, I will be going over the reports tab. That'll probably be the last thing that I hit. But yep, absolutely. We'll cover that. So that's it for the back office, guys, right here. So we're going to jump over to the contacts tab now. Again, over here on the left, if you're not familiar, you can click the red KW at the top and it will pop out the names for you. And we're going into the contacts tab right here. You're welcome. No problem. Thanks for the question. All right. There we go. Okay. And so right here, guys, in the contacts tab, I'm going to go over the general layout and some features that you have to customize this. And then we'll jump into some of the neater functions of it. So over here on the top right, you'll notice import and add contact. Import is if you're doing this in bulk, okay? Think of more than one contact at a time. Now, they've started some new informational windows popping up right here. I love that. They're just feeding you more information on how to get this done. But the grand overview is you can definitely import from a spreadsheet that you already have, and you can drag and drop it right here on the screen, or they have a template right here that is the command template for import imports. You can download it. I think it's brilliant. I recommend everybody at least looking at this template only because it has so many fields of data that you can collect for your contact that sometimes you might not have thought of collecting that piece of data for them. So it's just giving you ideas, right? You don't have to fill in every single column. You can fill in just the ones that you have. And really, honestly, at the end of the day, imports can take you some time. And if your data is messed up, I mean, that's the heartbeat of your business, right? So it could really be a cluster if you get data mixed up or a phone number in the wrong box, whatever. So you guys do have us, Scott Leroy Marketing. You can always send your file over to us, send us your command logins. We actually reformat it for you and import it for you. And that way it's leverage for you, saves you time. So just know that you always have us there to help you with that. We don't scrub contacts. And by scrubbing, I mean we can't go through and make sure Joe Bob's email is on the right line to match his and that he's not listed anywhere else on the file. We won't remove duplicates like that or anything. And you definitely need to make sure that your information is updated just for the integrity of your data, right? And the accuracy of it. So we don't scrub, but we do the reformatting that is required to get it imported into Command. So just know we're there to help you. Add contact. This is if you have one contact at a time. These are the fields we were talking about earlier. You can come in here and fill all of these out. It is a lot of information. It captures a great deal of information. I'm going to go through these in detail here in just a few minutes. I just want to show you how to edit a contact once these are filled in, and give you some pro tips on it. So we're not going to jump in just now. But I'll go ahead and cancel that out. Just wanted you to know it is right there if you want to add a contact in manually. And the three dots to the right of that. This is another similar pattern you'll notice in Command next to, the carrots, the upside down triangles indicating that you have a drop down menu there. You'll also notice that three dots in Command also indicate you've got some options there. So when you click that, these are your export options. Again, if you're on a team, you may see more options than what you see on my screen right now. That's okay. Those are just team options, especially if you are the rainmaker on a team. If you're not the rainmaker, they may be grayed out. Again, has to do with your permissions on that team. Okay. But if you're the rainmaker, you'll see multiple options to export all owned team contacts, not just your personal contacts. Okay, but for the ones you're seeing on my screen right now, these are for solo agents. And the top option, export all owned contacts, will do just that. It'll export a copy of all of your contacts from your database right here. Again, it doesn't remove any contacts, they still stay in place. However, it will export a copy of them onto a spreadsheet. You'll hear us mention CSV files if you ever talk to us about imports, and that's just a type of Excel spreadsheet that just means comma separated value. It's just the way that it actually feeds in great to Command and makes it easy. The other two export options you see here are export mailing labels as a CSV, just as we just mentioned. This will export your mailing label information into a spreadsheet, makes it super easy to go through and see if you're getting multiple labels for the same household, things like that. I'll show you in a little bit how you can make sure that if you are doing any kind of direct mail or mailing labels, things like that, that you can make sure one label goes to each house instead of one label per person, especially if you've got a whole family in your database for one house. You don't want 5 direct mailers going to one house. So just that particular export option right there makes it super easy. You can go through and make sure all the addresses are exactly right and you're not getting multiple labels. The next one is export mailing labels as a PDF. PDF is static. It is not editable, right? So that's actually printing out the example of what they would look like on the labels themselves or printing on labels to go ahead and put them on a paper object to mail out, okay? So there are your export options. Again, these are going to be for all owned contacts in your database. I'm going to show you in just a few minutes how to actually export particular types. Like if you have groups of contacts that would have a particular tag and you just want to export those particular contacts, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So just know those action items are over there on the top right. Next is our search feature. It is pretty common in Command to always have a search feature right here to your left when you are in a tab. You'll notice this has a drop-down menu and you can search using all these different options. Highly recommend leaving it on everything. When you leave it on everything, the Command database will literally pull apart things like notes and phone numbers and things like that to actually find what you are looking for, and it just is a more robust search. Like let's say okay, I see an example of a phone number down there. So I'm just going to type in the phone number. Well, it went through, picked through Sally's phone number and was able to pull her up immediately. If I had had any other search option picked like that, it wouldn't have found it. So, FYI, highly recommend leaving it on everything. Next are filters. This is a way that, again, that you can filter through your contacts. You can find who you're looking for. Over here on the right, you will see a list. Let me minimize some of them. This is all the different filters you can come in here and sort through your contacts with. Like the tags that we were talking about, you can come in here and find a particular tag that you've maybe put on some contacts and you want to view those contacts. You can do that. Maybe for contact type, you just want to look at your leads only. These are well, I can't do this on mine, but since we're demoing, but you can come in here and choose to look at leads only. Maybe you want to see who has connected with your KW Consumer mobile app. If you guys haven't checked out that class, highly recommend it. That gives you Big Brother access to your contacts as they're looking through an app. You get to see every listing they're viewing, liking, sharing, want to have a showing on. It's pretty handy dandy. But you can come in here and sort through these types of things to filter through your contacts and see who you want to see. You also have advanced filter options up here now as well. This is a pretty new one. Let me delete these. It was just what I was working on earlier. And so you can come in here and search for a particular field. Let's say you want to set people up with the birthday smart plan, which means that you would actually get tasks to remind you 5 days before that person's birthday to do like a handwritten card or comment on their social media, but you want to see which ones are missing a birthday. So you'll know who you need to go and talk to, have an easy conversation, and collect that data. You can come in here now and actually see fields that are empty, that don't necessarily have a particular piece of information. And that's a newer feature here in Command. So I just wanted to make sure that you know that this is here. You can also come in here and choose things like agent site connection. Have they created that login to your website or your mobile app? Well, you can come in here and see if they're connected or not connected and layer on a couple of different features or filters at a time. Okay. All right, so there's your filters. So let's say you come in here, you've gone through all the filters, you found all the contacts that you really want to look at, and now you can save it as a smart view. You can actually come up here and save it as a smart view. Let's see, go up to the top, create smart view right here. And that way you don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel. You don't have to constantly sort through all of those filters every single time. You can save this as a smart view and have it at a touch whenever you want to, just by choosing it here. You can even come in and manage your smart views and make one of them a default. Let's say, every single morning you come in and you want to lead gen, you want to see your new leads and you want to see who has been active in your mobile app. You can set that up using the filters and then set it as a default view. And every morning when you sign into your command, that will be the view you see on your contacts. So you don't have to filter every day. It's just save you some time. Other options that you see here, notice that this is kind of in list view and we have columns here of information. Well, over here, you have the option to view this in list form like we are right now, or you can choose a table or a tile view. I'm going to click that just to show you what it looks like. Some people like this. I particularly feel like I'm a little limited. I want my columns. I want to be able to sort back and forth. And so that way is a little easier the other way, but some people prefer this. And so I just wanted to show you that you can customize this here to look like this. And you'll notice a button shows up, says Save Smart View Changes. I've obviously made a change to my Smart View I have saved. And with one touch, I can update it right here if I want. And that way it'll also include your layout for your columns as well, not just for your filters. Pretty neat. We'll go back to our list view here and you'll notice you have an option for customized columns. On the left, I can choose which columns I want to show and be visible when I'm looking at my contacts tab. I can choose recently active, which means they've been operating on either my website or my mobile app. I can choose that. I can choose when they were last contacted. Maybe I want to definitely see their phone number first, right when I sign in. Well, over here on the right, I can adjust the order that the columns appear in. I can move recently active to the top and phone number to be next. And that way I can keep an eye on them and see the things that I want to see at a glance. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was stopping to read a question in the chat. Um, Nicolina, are you asking what contacts you should add to your contact database or who you should speak to about helping you get them added? If you'll let me know that, I'll definitely be able to answer that for you. So this is actually where you can reorder on your screen the columns and you can hit apply and those will freshen up right here. Now my first column is recently active. I can see when was the last time that they operated. And I can see their phone number right away. So if I'm looking to do some quick lead gen in the morning, I can sit down and have their phone number and their name right here ready to go. Okay. All right. And so those are some of the customizations. Ooh, one other thing. Over here on the right, hopefully you're dealing with a database that's more than one or two contacts. Um, so from right here, you can always click this and show up to 500 contacts per page. Highly recommend doing that because I want to show you your bulk action menu, and that's right here. It's hidden. It'll show up in this area right here. You can either select certain contacts, multiple ones if you would like, or you can just choose the select all box right here in the header. And if you give that a click, you'll notice that select bulk action menu keeps appearing. And so from here, you can bulk add these particular actions for all of those contacts that you see on this page. Remember, it's up to 500 at a time. So I could choose a bulk action menu item here, let it update, and then go over here and hit my next page and do it for the next 500. Okay. But these things include like add an activity, add a note, add tags, right? So right here, I told you I'd show you how to add tags easily. Well, I can come in here and search through the existing tags that I already have. Let's see if I have it. It looks like I don't have that particular tag created yet. So I can actually create it from right here. I don't have to go to those office places that I was showing you to begin with. So I can create a tag right here, choose whatever color I want, and hit create tag. You'll notice in the bottom left it says one selected. That means it has that one selected. It's just giving me an opportunity to grab a different tag. So you can, if you want, you can click a few more, search for a few more, whatever it is you would like to do, and just hit submit. It'll let you know down here at the bottom that the tags were applied. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes it takes a minute. Perfect. It actually shows you that the tags were only added to one of the contacts and not the other. It just needs a refresh. That's all it is. So don't let that alarm you if you do see that. Once we hit that refresh button and it comes back around, there we go. Over here, it'll show you those tags listed to both. Okay. All right. And so that is how you would bulk add tags. The bulk remove tags options, very similar. It'll just remove the tags that you want removed from them. At the same time, you also have the option to add to an email list. This is the list you would use to do an email campaign in Command. You can add them from a smart plan right here in increments of 500 at a time, which makes it super easy. The other options to add a smart plan or add contacts to a smart plan, there's several places you can do that. All the other ones are very limited, like 20 people at a time. So this is a way you can get almost your entire database on there in one lump sum. You also have that option to archive right here. So if you're looking to bulk archive, there it is. It'll move it back there to that contact archive, and then you can take that final choice of either restoring them or deleting them from there, like we went over at the beginning of class. You can change account. Change account would mean you move this contact from your personal profile to a team profile if you're on a team. This means it would literally remove it from your personal profile and move that contact onto the team profile. There's another way to accomplish that. Just let me insert that right here. Instead of actually losing the contact from your personal profile and putting all of that data on your team, we also can help you just export a copy of your contacts, re-import them on the team profile for you. And that way, you also retain a copy of the contacts on your personal profile if you're looking to personally market to them, not just as a team, but as you personally. And you also retain them as your data, as your database, right? If you were ever to leave that team in the future, you know that you have a copy of your own contacts on your profile. So, FYI, we can help you with that instead of you just changing account. Next, you'll notice those export options again, like we saw at the top right of our screen. And this means it would just export the contacts that we currently have selected. That way you can come in here and say, okay, I want to export all the contacts that are tagged buyer or seller. And you can export just those particular ones that you choose. You can also do mailing labels as a CSV right here that way to make it editable, or you can choose the PDF version as well that is not editable. Accidentally clicked my mouse again. There we go. Next is mark as a lead. You'll notice, let me click off this real quick to show you. See this tiny little L right here? This means that's a lead. It means that's a person you need to have that real estate conversation with, okay? And so you can have the ability to mark contacts as a lead, but also to unmark them as a lead. And you can see that right here in the bulk action menu, mark as a lead and then unmark as a lead at the very bottom. Okay. Then remove tags we already went over. If you have a Twilio account set up and connected to your command, you can also send bulk text messaging up to 500 people at a time right here. Next is share a copy. This is literally just sharing the data with someone. You can choose to share a copy with maybe a colleague or something like that, maybe a team member. But please know that it's literally just sharing that data with them. It's not like you're going to be able to track their interaction with that contact. It's literally like giving somebody somebody's phone number. They're going to put it in their phone. They'll interact with that person, but you actually won't see that interaction from then on. Okay. The contact will stay in your database, but you won't see any interaction between that person and them. Okay. And that's your bulk action menu, guys. And so, last thing right here from this particular screen before we actually jump into a contact themselves, I just want to show you these three dots located over here on the right as well. These are some quick touch items just for that particular contact that you would be on the line for. Like for Joe Bob over here, we can choose his three dots and it just gives you some options to either edit, you can add an activity again, make a copy and share it with somebody like we just talked about. You'll see archive, and also I can jump them on a smart plan from here or view the smart plans I already have them on from right here as well. Just some quick, easy touch buttons right there if you want. I find it easier just to jump into the contact, which is what we're fixing to do now. So I'm just going to click on the name of that contact. And this is what a contact profile looks like. On the left-hand side, you will see all the information that is filled out on the particular fields for that contact. On the right, you'll notice there's tabs across the top for different things like timeline, opportunities, smart plans, tasks that you may have associated with this contact, and even saved searches. Saved searches is one of my most favorite things. It's going to be huge leverage for your business, and I'll cover that in just a second. So let's move over here to the fields on the left-hand side. You'll see Joe Bob Sample's name up here on the top left. That's the name of your contact. It'll show you when they were last contacted as well. The L for the lead is right here. One thing you're not seeing on this particular contact that you may see on another is a tiny little green check bar mark inside a tiny little green circle. That means that they have that consumer login. That means they've gone to either your KW agent website or your KW consumer mobile app and they've signed up. They've put in their email and a password and their name, and they've now created their own login to where they can log in again, either to your app or your website and go in and search properties. They can look through neighborhoods, they can look through collections, they can do all kinds of things. But that would be right here if that person had created their login, or if you've done it as a concierge, gone and created it for them. That would show right here. Okay. Next, I can mark them as a lead or unmark them as a lead. I just unmarked him as a lead. Next, you'll see the tags associated with them, primary phone number and primary email. Okay. Coming on down from that, you'll see that you have a lead source. This guy doesn't have a lead source on here. He was manually entered, and I didn't fill out that information. But if you had a lead source, he'd be right there. It shows you who this particular contact belongs to. If you're on a team, this may look a little different for you. It may say that it's a team contact and you're just either the owner or the assignee. And coming on down, you have neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are really cool, guys. If you're not familiar with this, the neighborhood would pull from the primary address, primary physical address that you have on file for this contact, and it would have a neighborhood automatically assigned to this particular contact. However, the address we have on file for this guy, it's a commercial area, so it's not necessarily a designated neighborhood, so he doesn't have a primary, but you're able to add neighborhoods. There's a great thing in smart plans called monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan. That means every month my contacts can get an email that shows neighborhood stats for their area, and it's automated. So I don't even have to do it manually every month. My system will do it for you. It's huge leverage for your business. And so I would want to make sure that there's a neighborhood assigned to that contact so that that's the information that's sent to them automatically every month. So you can come right here and click add a neighborhood and find on a map. It'll give you a map. There is a search field, but it kind of goes by street, which can be a little different. And so you can just hold down your control key and zoom in. It'll go off the physical address that was listed here. And you'll notice that the green boxes start populating. Those are neighborhoods. If you hover over them, the neighborhood name will show up and you can click and choose them as you would like. You can even come down here and remove some if you want to, but you can choose their neighborhoods and hit save. You'll notice it updates right here. This particular contact used to be on our consumer app, so they have added some neighborhoods themselves. You'll notice that they are white boxes, and I don't have the option to remove them, but some of them are green and have X boxes right here, or X's, that I can actually remove them, remove those particular neighborhoods just by Xing them out like so. Okay. You'll notice it updating in the timeline over here on the right as I do this, showing that they've subscribed to a particular neighborhood and unsubscribed to others. And you even have a preview option right here to view these neighborhoods. If I click that, it'll open another tab and it'll show me those neighborhood stats that I'm looking for. This is what your contact would get each month if they're set up on that smart plan. But if you want to, and they're not set up on a smart plan yet, you can copy the link right here from within their contact profile, send it over to them, text them, email them. Let it be a conversation starter. Let it be a place of value that you're giving them and coming from a place of contribution to your contact. Maybe it's friends and family, and you just want a way to start a conversation of like, hey, I just got a brand new tool in real estate. I want to test it out. Do you mind taking a look at this for me? Oh, by the way, would you like to receive this free every month or maybe every 2 weeks in your neighborhood? Great, I'll set that up for you. See? Easy peasy. So you can do that as well. Moving on down, you'll notice the other fields for this particular contact. That's the word I'm looking for. And I want to show you where relationships are. You know how we talked earlier about mailing labels and having multiple people in your contact database that might be within one household? Well, you can create relationships here within your contacts, and that's how the system will identify they're with the same household. Okay. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. If I scroll back up, there's a pencil right here. Oh yeah, 3 dots too. Remember, 3 dots gives you those certain options, right? It tells you there's a drop down menu there. Another shortcut to add to a smart plan, change the account to a team if I want to. I can even resubscribe them. Please know, resubscribe shows for all of your contacts. This does not mean that they have unsubscribed, guys. It's on every single contact, okay? But you can resubscribe them if they have unsubscribed. And I can archive that contact from right here too. But let's just edit it. Gonna click that pencil. It'll come up here, and relationships are one of the first things that you can add right here. So I could come and choose whether this is any of the options that you have in your drop down here. I can choose business partner if I want. I can also decide that it's not Sally Sample, it's someone else. And so I can start typing in their name. It would populate contact options right here if I had another contact by that name. We do get a lot of questions with people coming in here saying that this box didn't have anything populated in it at all. And don't worry, it does as soon as you start typing in it. Okay. But if we move down here, we can add more information, add additional contact information. On our way to adding those additional relationships, I want to show you this real quick. See that do not contact on here? If for some reason your contact needs to be marked DNC, do not contact, grab their information up here, this phone number, this email, get it out of the primary fields. The command marketing pulls from the primary fields. There is a chance you might run another marketing through your command, like smart plans or campaigns. If there's information in these two fields, get it out of there, bring it on down, put it in the additional email and then additional phone number fields. This way you don't lose your data and it's there just in case something happens in the future and you get to contact them again. But you won't lose your data, but the system also will not accidentally reach out to them for you. Okay. This do not contact is just an FYI for yourself. It doesn't actually do anything on the contact to prevent them from being contacted again. Okay. Just wanted you to know that. And so next, again, we were showing you how to do the relationships. So I'm coming on down under the about, and you'll notice I have add more fields for relationship right here, and I can add as many as I need to. Okay. So you can add more relationships there and click the add button at the end. Okay. While we're in here, let me go ahead and show you those custom fields. Our last option here is custom, and you'll notice there's already some fields listed here. That's because they were marked as default. See them on the right-hand side, it says default. That means these three fields will show for all of my contacts in the database. But just below that, you'll notice this one doesn't say default. This is because I've already come in here and added a custom field right here. And I can choose from the custom fields that I've created. Let me move down a little bit so you can see it. And there's our favorite pie. So I can choose any of those custom fields right here and add it in, or I can hit the minus sign and actually remove it. This is where that data had already been saved, I told you. So he already has a favorite pie listed, and we chose cherry out of the drop-down menu. So it's listed right here. For future classes, I'm going to go ahead and remove that, but you can go ahead and save any change that you've just made within your contacts. Just make sure that you save it right there. But relationships is going to be a big deal. If you're interested in mailing labels, there's a lot of like persnickety little things about them. So we do have tech tip videos on our YouTube channel. Highly recommend checking those out. One shows the 3 common mistakes when doing mailing labels, and it'll show you how to get into the nitty gritty and have good results with that. Okay. So over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to cover these tabs for you, and then we'll jump into the reports tab before the end of class. So over here on the right, again, timeline. It can be filtered between a date range and even all activity. Maybe you just want to look at the calls that you and this person have had. Maybe you want to look at all the texts that you've had. If you don't know now, you can actually send a message through WhatsApp within your command database. And then also you can choose whichever kind of activity you want to. We can leave it on all activities so you can see everything. And over here on the side, you can actually add an activity. Maybe you ran into the person in the grocery store. So you can say you had a meeting, put the date, and just type in a note, saw each other in the grocery store. Here's what we talked about. And let me just go ahead and do that so I can show you what it'll show up as, and hit add activity. You'll see it updated here on the right, and it'll show you had a meeting with that particular person. So this is pretty handy dandy to see the history between you and that particular person. It also shows you the smart plan activity that you've had with them. If they were on your app, you would see things like this, that you had a collection for them and that they viewed these particular houses. You can also see that the person requested a video tour, and you would have a hyperlink to the listing that they wanted to view. Again, these are all things stemming from their consumer mobile app if they were signed into that. Go check out that class. If you have any questions, just let us know. Opportunities shows you the opportunities associated with this contact, or you can even create an opportunity from right here. Smart plans shows you which smart plans this particular contact is currently on, but I can also add them to a smart plan from right here. If I click that, it'll show me all my smart plans that I currently have and let me select as many as I want to put this contact on. So we'll go ahead and X out of that. Next is tasks. Any tasks associated with this contact would show here. I'd have the ability to expand it and even come in here and check it off or even delete it, maybe even reschedule it if I wanted to, or create a task from right here, brand new. Notes, pretty self-explanatory. And then saved searches. Guys, if you are going to your MLS portal to create a saved search for your contact, you don't have to skip between those two systems. You can create a saved search right here for your contact. You can hit create, put in their criteria. Maybe it's just houses or condos, and they want 2 bed, 2 bath, whatever it is that they are looking for. Let me put a city in really quick. Just a second. Hold on. Let's do zip code. You can enter it by zip code, which by the way is way easier than trying to make a saved search per city. So we'll go in, we'll create this saved search, enter your information. You can hit next, going to label it. It'll send it to the primary email on file, and I can choose to have email notifications. If they didn't have email notifications, they would just see this data in this information, all the new listings that are coming on and off the market that meet their criteria. They would see it when they log in to your agent website or your consumer mobile app. Or both. The same login works both places. So they would get to see that information there, but you can also set it up to receive email notifications, and you can choose how often they receive those notifications, including instant if they wanted to. You'd create that saved search for them. It would appear right here. You can come in and edit or delete it. The big catch, guys, the big catch to this, they have to have that green check mark with the circle beside their name indicating that they have that login. Excuse me, the hiccups. So they have to have that, or else they will only receive the initial email saying they got the saved search set up, but they won't receive any of the emails after that showing the listings that meet their criteria. The reason is when they create that login, they have to check a box to our terms and policies, which they are agreeing to receive emails from us. So make sure they have that login created. If they don't, you can actually create it for them yourself as a concierge. Just make sure to email them or reach out and let them know, hey, I created a profile for you. Here's your email and the password it's set up under. And then they'll be able to receive these saved search emails, and you won't have to be working out of both portals, Command and your MLS portal. Okay. Just a little handy dandy pro tip there for you. We're going to delete this so that my demo account doesn't get bombarded with emails. And we'll move over to our reports tab really quick, guys. So let's go back to contacts again, just to give you orientation of where we are. On the left-hand side for the tabs, your reports tab is the one that kind of looks like a bar chart right here. If you hover over it, it says reports. This is going to give you some database health information. You'll notice right here from the dashboard, it'll show you total records. This is total contacts that you have within your database. To the right of that, it breaks it out into contacts versus leads. So I guess total records, again, should just be the total number of people that you have in your database. It'll show you your contacts or leads, whichever one you want it to show. I'm going to leave it on total records here to show you the whole thing. As you move down, it's total database health. Okay. It's letting you see how healthy your database is based on the amount of information that you have already filled out for your contacts. You'll notice we don't have any home anniversaries filled out in the fields on the contacts. We only have a few birthdays, good amount of neighborhoods, but still not great enough. Tons of emails. You can see that we're heavy on our business and emails, and a little bit of phone numbers, not even 50%, but it's all right. But look at this compare option right here, guys. I can compare myself to other agents in my market center, agents in my state, all agents in KW, with a couple of production bracket options like agents in the top production bracket. If I choose that, you'll see them listed in gray, mine's in color. And so it actually shows you, are you producing at the level of a top producing agent? What do you need to do to have a database health like theirs to possibly get business like they do. And so you can choose that to compare. You can also undo that if you don't want to. You can come on down to database activity score. This shows your interaction with your database, not just the data that you have on file. You can filter by text messages, emails, your calendar, maybe calls. Remember, we were adding activities to the timeline in that contact. This is where those come into play because you can see how many meetings you've had, things like that. And it also lets you know, let me scoot back up to filter by. It lets you know the percentage you've reached out to in the last 30 days, 30 to 60, 60 to 90, and 90 or more days. You do have the compare feature here as well. If you want to compare yourself to the top agent, top production bracket, you can see that we are a little ahead. Wait, a little ahead on the last 30 days. We're at 10%, we're there at 7.5, but we're a little behind when it comes to a consistency here. Look, most of them have interacted with their database in the last 90 days, and we're only at 61%. So it gives you some ideas there to kind of keep an eye on. Over here on the right, you'll notice the pie chart. Remember where you're talking about lead sources? You can see where your business is being fed from. Right here, I can choose sources and this year, this month, whichever you have, this year is where we're going to be able to see data on ours since it's a demo account. But you can see that 60% come from landing pages, 25% from KW app or website, and then 15 were from a phone import. So that can show you where your database is being fed from, and you can actually look over those numbers even as recently as today or yesterday. Highly recommend checking that out. When you come over here to reports as well, just off of the dashboard, this also you will show you a report. So let's choose database report instead of opportunities report. And this will give you an overview of your numbers, total activities, total smart plans, total texts, things like that. And over here on the right, you can see how you're doing with leads as well as contacts, depending on which number you want to see. And on the top right hand corner, you can actually export as well. If you want to export this file, you can do that. Export that report. You can do it in a CSV editable file or a PDF, whichever one you prefer. And guys, that wraps up our database class for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you're watching this back on recording and you have any questions, you can reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. Thanks for watching.